Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited. Federal charges result from filming helicopter fireworks stunt. Seaplane collides with boat during takeoff. Over half of Australian noise complaints stem from a single person. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Federal charges result from filming helicopter fireworks stunt. Sukmin Choi, known to his million-plus YouTube subscribers as Alex Choi, has been arrested and faces federal charges for, quote, causing the placement of an explosive or incendiary device on an aircraft, end quote. The charges result from Choi's allegedly being the mastermind behind a scheme to create a video showing a Lamborghini speeding and doing donuts on a dry lake bed as passengers in a low-flying helicopter shoot fireworks aimed at the car. The video is titled Destroying a Lamborghini with Fireworks and was captured in June 2023. The legal issues are multiple, and in addition to the federal complaint, Choi could also be charged in California since fireworks are subject to stringent laws. The lack of permits or waivers required for aerial filming or explosives from BLM, ATF, and FAA are of prime concern to those agencies and could result in additional enforcement action. The helicopter pilot has already had his certificate revoked for low-altitude flying, firing, or allowing the firing of fireworks from the aircraft, and having his transponder turned off for several hours while filming. After the break, Part 141 students left abandoned after owner's accident.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Flying is my entire life. It's all that I've ever known. I've relied on Hartzell propellers since about 1995. Hartzell means much more than a propeller. It's a relationship. When you hear the phrase built on honor, they care about us as pilots, they care about our community, and they care about the product they build. It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Part 141 students left abandoned after owner's accident. Students of Atlantis Aviation Flight School are apparently either out the total sum of their prepaid flight training or waiting on probate to get on with their careers after the owners of the school died in a plane crash last March. An attorney representing 20 Atlantis students noted, quote, "The students of Atlantis Aviation Flight Academy find themselves in a difficult position through no fault of their own. While we offer our condolences and empathize with the family's loss, the students fear for their future, both occupationally and economically. These students now have to claw back their monies from a school that is no longer viable," end quote. Serious balloon action coming to Hungary this fall. The FAI tells us that over 100 hot air balloons from more than 30 countries around the world will color the skies of Hungary between September 8th through 14th, 2024 at the 25th FAI World Hot Air Balloon Championship, the biggest international competition in hot air ballooning. The sport's most prestigious competition will attract participants from more than 30 countries from all over the world, from Australia to Canada, including Japan, China, India, Brazil, and the US, one of the top countries of previous World Championships, and many other European countries. CubCrafters adds Midwest dealer. Omaha Aircraft Sales of Nebraska has completed the process of joining the CubCrafters family and will now handle the sales and support for a solid chunk of the Midwest. Omaha Aircraft Sales will now be the certified sales center for North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, and parts of Illinois. CubCrafters is sure the team will provide a buying process that's enjoyable, informative, and smooth in a way that befits the high-quality brand. Omaha will offer the whole catalog, all the way down to used planes and kits. Success! New York City Heliport saved. VAI successfully used its call to action to ensure the salvation of the West 30th Street Heliport in New York City. The issue resulted in more than 96,000 emails sent to the New York State Legislature, a mountain of support in pushing government stakeholders to reconsider. The VAI worried that West 30th would inevitably close once construction in the area precluded its operation. Years of advocacy in the Big Apple taught them that the temporary measures are rarely ever all that temporary in the long run, and removing infrastructure from use disrupts the entire business ecosystem that relies upon it. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Seaplane collides with boat during takeoff. A clip began circulating over the weekend showing a Harbor Air seaplane as it began its takeoff roll and collided with a boat. The aircraft was operating under Harbor Air, a seaplane operator in Vancouver. The firm is a common sight there, with a handful of single-engine high-wing turboprops tethered to the dock in between a constant stream of revenue flights. Thankfully, there were no fatalities reported between the 5 passengers on the aircraft and the 4 on the boat. Some light injuries were reported but were treated quickly. EMS was able to reach the scene in seconds, with occupants of both vehicles removed prior to either sinking. Eventually, the aircraft settled to the bottom of the bay. Harbor Air issued a terse statement regarding the incident, saying that the aircraft was operating on a scenic tour with 5 passengers aboard and a pilot, with all uninjured and safe. They were careful not to ascribe fault to either side, passively describing the incident as the aircraft coming into contact with the boat, but the investigation will likely discover more along the accident chain. From the look of things, the boat was puttering along none too quickly as the aircraft began its takeoff roll. And after these messages, over half of Australian noise complaints stem from a single person.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Over half of Australian noise complaints stem from a single person. It's not news to those who have spent their time instructing, but sometimes a perfect confluence of obsession, zoning, and property ownership result in an obsessive, all-consuming need to tattle on the aircraft above. Generally, it falls into 2 rough camps: those who move to the outskirts of the big city to enjoy larger homes and more affordable real estate, who inevitably react in shock when the small airport 3 blocks away sends off a stream of Cessnas on a Saturday morning. The second falls in a similar vein, in that a buyer happily moves or lives under the approach and departure path of a major international airport and grumpily complains that the heavies just can't be quiet enough. The former's domain is the front lawn chair, where they sit with binoculars in hand and notepad at the ready, vigilant for the next distinguishable tail number to report for flying too low, no matter how legal it is. The latter is a bit different, but the Aussies evidently have their pattern down. Air Services Australia logged a single resident's noise complaints in Perth more than 20,700 times throughout 2023, accounting for more than half of the entire country's noise reports in all. She wasn't the only reporter in the country with such an outsized effect, with the runner-up accounting for 4,071 complaints throughout the year. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.